Americans are suffering as Democrats try to defend keeping the government shut down. 27 days, the second longest shutdown in U.S. history. Nearly 42 million people who rely on federal food benefits will not get them beginning November 1st. We have food insecurity in this country, and it potentially could explode. It's going to take all of us to pitch in now. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. The Agricultural Department posted this scathing message, quote, Senate Democrats have now voted 12 times to not fund the food stamp program. Bottom line, the well has run dry. November 1st is also the day when Obamacare open enrollment begins, with Democrats holding out over subsidies for some premiums. Essential air service funding for rural and remote communities will run out. That service is crucial enough that the Transportation Department has tapped $42 million to avoid a lapse earlier this month. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent making it very clear where the blame and responsibility lie.
They've dug in. The American people are hostage to Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries' poll numbers. Both of the two guys from Brooklyn, like I call them, are worried about being primaried from the left. 52 Republican senators have voted 11 times to reopen the government. 3 brave, moderate Democrats have come across the aisle. So, I call on moderate Democratic senators to end this craziness. You'll be heroes.
Imagine having to be brave to have your own point of view in a political party, the one that you belong to. Well, you heard him there, Scott Bessent, and here's one of those brave Democrats, Senator John Fetterman, going after the Democrats, his own party, again.
I do believe that there's a critical mass of my fellow Democrats that are dug in, and now until there's an absolute ironclad kind of a deal, I do believe we could have a sincere conversation, after we can open it up. And then we don't have to do this 3-card Monte about, do this, do that, do the other thing. Let's just open it up.
Senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. Chad.
Harris, good morning. There are no talks, no negotiations, and barring an emergency, that means the government is closed for at least another week. Senate Democrats have blocked an interim spending bill 12 times now.
We have no ability. Republicans do not have the ability to do this on our own. It's a simple math problem. We need Democrats to help. You need 60 votes in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans. The Democrats are the ones voting repeatedly to shut down the government.
Food benefits are expiring. An anonymous donor is sending $130 million to pay every service member $100 during the shutdown. TSA says, quote, the longer the shutdown goes, the more severe the impact on our TSA workforce. Democrats demand guarantees from the president that he will not cancel spending after the fact if they reopen the government.
We've seen since January 20 canceling economic development projects in our state that were authorized and appropriated, pulling back public health funds that were authorized and appropriated. We need President Trump to agree that if we shake hands on a deal, he will honor it.
Now, the House has been out since September 19th. Democrats are concerned about Congress ceding power to the president, but Republicans say Democrats can blame themselves.
Senator Kaine and his colleagues have literally given the administration and Donald J. Trump all the authority they need to do what they have to do to make the difficult choices that are going to have to be made to make sure that the essential services are still provided. And that decision will be between essential and non-essential.
Everett Kelly is the head of the American Federation of Government Employees. He says it is time to end the shutdown. But even passing the temporary spending bill is a problem. Adoption of that bill would only fund the government through November 21st. Harris?
Chad Pergram, thank you. Senator Tom Cotton of the great state of Arkansas is in focus. Chairman of the Senate Republican Conference, also a member of the Senate Armed Services and Joint Economic Committees. Good to have you in focus. I've been checking with food banks since Friday. The checks stopped coming. November 1st is around the corner, and I understand that the need for, because of food insecurity in this country, The need is huge, it is mighty, and we must meet it. Talk to me about the moment that we're in, Senator.
Well, Harris, the pain and the hardships from the Schumer shutdown continue to pile up, yet the Democrats seem to view this as a political game. Chuck Schumer said recently that every day gets better for us being the Democrats. A House Democratic leader just last week said they want to use needy families as leverage to get a better deal. Republicans don't think we should be using needy families as leverage. We think we should help them get the food they need, and the simplest way to do that is for the Democrats to reopen the government. But as this goes on, the Trump administration has done its best to try to minimize these hardships, but ultimately it starts to run out of funds and run up against the bounds of law, and there's really nothing more they can do. In Arkansas, for instance, we have nearly 250,000 families that are on the WIC nutrition program for poor young women and children, the food stamp program. We have over 6,000 National Guardsmen who are worried about their next paycheck. I spoke to one on Friday night in Clarksville, Arkansas, who was very happy that President Trump was able to find the funds for the last round of paychecks for our troops, but very worried about what it means for this next round. So the Democrats need to take the responsible step here. They need to come to their senses and open the government. And at that point, we can debate anything else they want to discuss. But the hardships are piling up for the people of Arkansas and all across this country.
And I know many members of our audience may know it, but to remind them, you served valiantly this great nation. And when you talk about what a shutdown does to readiness, to national security, you know what you speak. This is a dire moment. I mentioned calling food banks in my home state of New Jersey. Have Democrats done the calculus on how this is going to hurt? The governor's race is right around the corner, and this will be an issue. I guarantee it. The food insecurity, as you mentioned in Arkansas, is huge. It's all over America. Living paycheck to paycheck happens for people, and now the checks have stopped.
Yeah, Harris, it's exactly right. But again, you saw the callousness of Democrats last week when a House Democratic leader said they'd use needy families and their nutritional needs as leverage to try to get something from President Trump and Republicans. Look at what they proposed to fund the government, over $1.5 trillion of new spending, as well as taxpayer-financed health care for illegal aliens. And as much as I heard from people in Arkansas over the last few days, like that National Guardsman in Clarksville, I also heard from Arkansans who said, don't capitulate to these absurd demands from the Democrats. Because also at root, they know the Democrats are not really demanding changes to the health care system. What they're doing is raging against President Trump and the American people who elected him.
Yep.
That's no way to try to do the people's business. They need to open the government. Even one of the largest public employee unions, a traditional mainstay of the Democratic Party, has called for them to open the government. And then we can debate whatever issues the Democrats want.
Well, look, a new opinion piece is suggesting that Republicans may, quote, go nuclear to end the shutdown, which would mean ending the filibuster and removing the 60-vote threshold. Members of your own party have different ideas about what this would take. I talked with Senator Lankford about this on Friday, and he put a bill forth to do this previously. Is this where we are right now? And do you think Americans would welcome it?
No, Harris, we're not going to end the filibuster on a short-term funding bill. Frankly, we're not going to end the filibuster over anything in this Congress. That's what the Democrats want to do. They've wanted to do it forever. Now they're goading and baiting Republicans to eliminate the filibuster, which has been a way for more than 200 years to try to forge consensus and compromise on our broad, diverse country, because they want it to achieve their long-held goals, and they don't want to take responsibility for it. So
excuse me, Senator, I'm just going to cut in for time here. If you get rid of this, though, does it mean that we don't ever face a shutdown again?
Well, it would mean that you never face a supermajority vote in the Senate again. And if you eliminate it for a 4-week funding bill, the Democrats, if they take power, will use it to make Washington, D.C. a state, to get 2 senators in perpetuity. They'll use it to pack the Supreme Court. They'll use it to impose California's voting laws on the entire country in an effort to grab power so they never have to relinquish it again. We don't need to eliminate the filibuster. The Democrat needs to come to the senses and give a few more votes to open the government.
All right, Senator, it is great to have you. Chairman Cotton, thank you very much.
Thank you, Harris.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.